Y'all, we got to wake up and learn our value. We are so valuable to this country, to this nation as a whole.
What Sandra Bland means to me is an awareness about my own vulnerability. When I heard about the way that she died, I resonated very strongly with her life and her experience. And of all the people who've died recently, I feel like I could have been her. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, but my first job out of college was a community organizer in Central Florida. And I used to spend my days and nights driving around rural parts of Florida in the state to talk with people and work on social justice. And the fact that this young woman was going to Texas to help others and was pulled over and treated in this way. I've been pulled over on roads that had me a little scared, and it could have been me. It really could have been me.
When I think about Sandra Bland, I first make a personal connection as a Black woman who lives in the South. And it affected me in that it scared the shit out of me. And I realized that every time I get in my car, that something like that could happen to me. I think about it. I think about Sandra pretty much every time I get in my car. So that's a deeply personal way that she has affected me.
So I carpooled with some people home for Christmas, trying to save a little bit of money, and at the kind of at the last minute, became aware that they were going to be unable to help me get back to DC, and I realized that I was going to need to rent a car and drive myself back and drive by myself. The other options weren't good given the circumstances, and I was really terrified. I was terrified to be a Black woman driving through Tennessee and North Carolina and Virginia to get back to DC. But I was really, really scared.
And I do take precautions. I have a Cop Watch app on my phone. I have a sticky pad on the dashboard so that I can record any and all interactions if I have them with the police. I'm always thinking that if I'm seeing something, do I stop and do I record? And so it has made me more aware of how we do not only record our own interactions, but even be there to record somebody else's. But I'm very clear that it's not necessarily going to save my life, but what it will do is leave a record.
To be a Black woman driving through rural US in the South, in a rental car, not knowing if I might get pulled over for nothing, or if I might accidentally speed too much and get pulled over for that and not be safe. So I started asking people to pray for me, friends of mine who I knew would be understanding, even friends who I weren't sure would be understanding. If I just asked them to pray, I believed that they would. And then I also downloaded an app. I think it's called Cop Watch or something like that, so that people would know where I was at all times. And I talked to people on the drive as well. And I did make it back safely. But I had never experienced that level of fear before.
And I think about her when I think about all the other stories that we've heard of women who've been victims of police violence, because she's the one that I resonate with, but she builds empathy for me with all the others, with all the other people, men, women, everyone who are victims of police violence. And so I remember her when I work on social justice work now, as someone that could have been me, and it's only by luck and by the grace of God that I haven't been in that situation. So I ask everybody to remember that and to remember her, and especially think about the people that you know who could have been in any of these situations and could have lost their lives because we haven't figured out as a society how to create more justice systems.
She does continue to speak because we continue to put her own voice out there, not just what we're saying about her now that she's gone. And I think it's important that that we hear her, but that also every judge who's deciding a case, the lawyers, they need to be hearing her. And so I want to keep talking about Sandra. I want to keep her and so many others their voices, their lives. We need to make sure their narrative continues to get out. Not just what people say about them, not just how people try and make them into bad people after they're gone and point out every flaw they ever had or how they did this or that. No, we need to keep telling their stories and their narratives because their lives matter, their lives are beautiful and complicated, and they and we deserve to live.
You won't shut me up and you won't shut me down. Sandy is going to keep on speaking. Y'all have a great day.